sometimes cinema doesn't need darkness or danger. It just needs heart. 1963 delivered stories filled with sunshine, laughter, and irresistible charm. From tropical islands to bustling New York apartments, joy was everywhere. Romance sparkled, misunderstandings turned hilarious, and love always found a way. Hollywood's biggest stars proved that charisma alone could light up the screen. These weren't heavy dramas. They were comfort films before the term existed. And decades later, their warmth still feels refreshingly timeless. Here are 10 feel-good 1963 classics that remind us why movies make us smile.
Sunday in New York, 1963. Sunday in New York is a breezy romantic comedy that captures early 1960s urban sophistication with playful humor and surprisingly modern themes about independence and desire. Directed by Peter Tewksbury and based on Norman Krasna's Broadway play, the film stars Jane Fonda as Eileen Tyler, a young woman who impulsively travels to New York City after discovering her steady boyfriend may not be as faithful as she believed. Determined to prove to herself that she is no longer naive, Eileen seeks advice, and possibly adventure, from her worldly airline pilot brother Adam, played with charismatic ease by Cliff Robertson. However, Adam's well-ordered bachelor life is disrupted by the presence of his charming and opportunistic friend Mike Mitchell, portrayed by Rod Taylor, who quickly becomes intrigued by Eileen's mix of innocence and determination. What unfolds over the course of one eventful Sunday is a carefully staged dance of flirtation, moral debate, and shifting boundaries, as Eileen wrestles with whether to embrace spontaneity or hold on to her principles. The film cleverly balances lighthearted comedy with subtle commentary on evolving social norms, particularly regarding premarital relationships, female autonomy, and the double standards of the era. Jane Fonda delivers a vibrant performance, radiating both vulnerability and quiet confidence, hinting at the stronger, more independent screen presence she would later become known for. Rod Taylor brings playful magnetism to Mike, ensuring that the romantic tension feels spirited rather than predatory, while Cliff Robertson grounds the film with brotherly protectiveness and comedic timing. Visually, the Manhattan setting provides a stylish backdrop of sleek apartments, city skylines, and cozy interiors, emphasizing the cosmopolitan fantasy of New York as a playground for modern adults. The screenplay sparkles with witty exchanges and clever situational humor, keeping the pacing brisk and engaging without drifting into heavy melodrama. Upon release, Sunday in New York was praised for its lively performances and Broadway-style sharpness, though some critics considered its premise daring for mainstream audiences at the time. Nevertheless, the film resonated with viewers who appreciated its fresh tone and honest, if playful, exploration of romantic curiosity. In the broader cinematic landscape of 1963, it stood out as a light yet forward-thinking comedy that hinted at the cultural shifts just around the corner. Today, it feels like a charming bridge between classic screwball comedies and the more liberated romantic films that would define the later decade. Its combination of humor, city glamour, and gently provocative themes ensures it remains one of the year's most entertaining feel-good entries, a reminder that sometimes a single Sunday can change everything. Under the Yum Yum Tree, 1963. Under the Yum Yum Tree is a lively, slightly risque romantic comedy that perfectly captures the early 1960s fascination with bachelor culture, modern apartments, and shifting romantic boundaries. Directed by David Swift and based on Lawrence Roman's stage play, the film stars Jack Lemmon as Hogan, a self-proclaimed ladies' man who owns a stylish Southern California apartment building and enforces one strict rule: no married couples allowed. Hogan's carefully curated paradise of flirtation and freedom is suddenly threatened when a wholesome young couple, Robin and Dave Williams, move into the building claiming to be unmarried. Robin, played by Carol Lynley, is innocent yet determined to prove her independence, while Dave, portrayed by Dean Jones, is more conservative and hesitant about rushing into marriage. As Hogan becomes increasingly intrigued by Robin's charm, his bachelor philosophy begins to crack, setting the stage for a comedic battle between temptation, jealousy, and unexpected emotional growth. Jack Lemmon delivers one of his most energetic comedic performances, blending physical humor with subtle vulnerability that prevents Hogan from becoming merely a shallow Playboy caricature. His exaggerated confidence gradually gives way to insecurity and genuine affection, giving the film a surprising emotional arc beneath its farcical exterior. But screenplay thrives on misunderstandings, double entendres, and escalating situations that keep the pace brisk and entertaining. Visually, the mid-century modern apartment complex becomes a vibrant symbol of youthful freedom and social experimentation, reflecting a time when American cinema was cautiously exploring more mature romantic themes while still staying within the bounds of studio-era charm. Carol Lynley brings sweetness and quiet strength to Robin, ensuring she remains more than just an object of desire, while Dean Jones provides steady comedic contrast as the flustered boyfriend navigating both love and pride. Upon release, the film was embraced by audiences seeking light escapism with a hint of naughtiness, though some critics viewed its premise as part of the era's growing sex comedy trend. Nevertheless, its success reaffirmed Jack Lemmon's status as one of the most reliable comedic stars of the decade. In the context of 1963 cinema, Under the Yum Yum Tree represents Hollywood testing the waters of more openly playful adult humor, foreshadowing the romantic comedies that would become even bolder later in the decade. Today, it stands as a colorful and amusing time capsule of early 1960s bachelor fantasy, where moral debates unfold through witty banter rather than heavy drama. Its charm lies in its ability to balance cheeky humor with heartfelt character development, reminding viewers that even the most committed bachelor might discover that love disrupts the best-laid plans.
Move Over, Darling, 1963. Move Over, Darling is a spirited screwball-style romantic comedy that thrives on mistaken assumptions, marital chaos, and the irresistible charm of its leading lady, Doris Day. Directed by Michael Gordon, the film centers on Ellen Arden, played by Day, who is presumed dead after a shipwreck while on her honeymoon. 5 years later, just as her husband Nick, portrayed by James Garner, has remarried and settled into a new life, Ellen unexpectedly returns, very much alive, having been stranded on a remote island with another man. What follows is a whirlwind of confusion, as Nick attempts to navigate legal complications, social embarrassment, and his lingering feelings for his first wife, all while juggling his new marriage. The premise alone provides fertile ground for comedic tension, and the screenplay wastes no time escalating misunderstandings into hilariously awkward situations. Doris Day delivers a vibrant performance filled with warmth and spirited determination, ensuring Ellen remains sympathetic rather than disruptive. James Garner once again proves his effortless comedic timing, portraying Nick as a man torn between duty and emotion without ever losing his likability. The film cleverly plays with the absurdity of bureaucratic red tape, small-town gossip, and public scandal, turning what could have been melodrama into sparkling farce. Visually, the suburban settings and polished interiors reflect early 1960s domestic ideals, which are then delightfully shaken by Ellen's return. The supporting cast adds layers of humor, particularly through exaggerated reactions to the improbable circumstances. Beneath its playful surface, the film subtly examines themes of loyalty, resilience, and whether love can truly be replaced. Upon release, Move Over Darling performed strongly at the box office, buoyed by Doris Day's star power and audience appetite for lighthearted escapism. Interestingly, the film itself had a turbulent production history, originally begun under a different title with another star, before being shut down and reworked, making its eventual success even more remarkable. Critics acknowledged its conventional structure, but praised the undeniable chemistry between Day and Garner. In the broader context of 1963 cinema, the film stood as a testament to Hollywood's enduring affection for screwball-inspired romantic chaos, even as storytelling trends were beginning to shift. Today, it remains one of Doris Day's most entertaining vehicles, combining improbable coincidence with heartfelt sincerity. Its blend of romantic confusion and comedic escalation ensures that despite its far-fetched premise, the emotional payoff feels satisfying and joyful. As part of the year's feel-good lineup, Move Over Darling reminds viewers that sometimes love survives even the most unbelievable detours, and that laughter can smooth even the messiest complications. Donovan's Reef, 1963. Directed by the legendary John Ford, Donovan's Reef is a vibrant, sun-soaked comedy that brings together tropical escapism, playful brawls, and old-fashioned romance in a way only early 1960s Hollywood could deliver. Starring John Wayne as Michael Gunn's Donovan and Lee Marvin as his rowdy naval buddy Thomas Boat Skilhooly, the film is set on the fictional Polynesian island of Haleakaloha, where the two former servicemen now spend their days running a local bar and engaging in an annual birthday fistfight ritual that serves more as tradition than hostility. From the opening scenes, the film establishes its tone as breezy and lighthearted, prioritizing humor and camaraderie over dramatic tension. The arrival of Amelia Dedham, played by Elizabeth Allen, disrupts the island's relaxed rhythm,
she travels from Boston to claim her inheritance, unaware that her late father had built a life and a family on the island that challenges her rigid social expectations. The narrative cleverly explores themes of prejudice, cultural acceptance, and personal growth, all wrapped in comedic misunderstandings and romantic sparks between Donovan and Amelia. John Wayne, often associated with stoic Western heroes, reveals his comedic timing and easygoing charm, proving his star power extended beyond rugged frontiers. Lee Marvin adds chaotic energy and sharp humor, creating a dynamic friendship that anchors the film's appeal. Visually, the tropical setting becomes a character in itself, filled with bright beaches, lively island festivals, and colorful community gatherings that enhance the escapist fantasy. While some elements reflect outdated social attitudes of its era, the film's central message promotes unity, loyalty, and embracing unconventional families. Ford's direction balances slapstick humor with heartfelt sentiment, ensuring the story never drifts too far into caricature. Upon release, Donovan's Reef was a commercial success, appreciated by audiences seeking warmth and laughter during a period increasingly marked by global tension. Critics offered mixed reviews, noting its lightweight plot but acknowledging its charismatic performances and relaxed atmosphere. Over time, it has become a comfort classic, particularly for fans of John Wayne eager to see a softer, more comedic side of the iconic actor. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, filled with epics and political dramas, Donovan's Reef stood out as pure entertainment, a film that prioritized fun over intensity and camaraderie over conflict. Today, it remains a nostalgic snapshot of Hollywood's ability to transport audiences to a fictional paradise where friendship conquers differences and love arrives with a grin rather than a grand speech. Its blend of humor, tropical adventure, and star chemistry makes it one of the most charming escapist films of its time.
A New Kind of Love, 1963. A New Kind of Love is a glossy romantic comedy that captures early 1960s sophistication with a playful twist on identity, gender roles, and the evolving image of modern romance. Directed by Melville Shavelson and starring Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, one of Hollywood's most beloved real-life couples, the film thrives on charisma, chemistry, and cosmopolitan charm. Newman plays Steve Sherman, a cynical American newspaper columnist sent to Paris to write about the city's romantic reputation, while Woodward portrays Samantha Blake, a practical and intelligent fashion buyer who unexpectedly becomes entangled in a web of mistaken identity. When Steve assumes Samantha is a high-class call girl due to a series of misunderstandings, she impulsively decides to maintain the illusion, curious to see how far his assumptions will go. What follows is a witty battle of perception and pride, as both characters navigate flirtation, deception, and unexpected vulnerability in the City of Light. The film cleverly examines how men and women project fantasies onto one another, reflecting the cultural shifts of the early 1960s, when traditional gender expectations were beginning to loosen but still heavily influenced social interaction. Joanne Woodward delivers a confident and sharp performance, grounding Samantha with intelligence and emotional nuance, rather than allowing her to become a mere comedic device. Paul Newman balances charm and arrogance effortlessly, creating a protagonist who must slowly confront his own superficial judgments. Visually, the Parisian setting adds elegance and escapism, with stylish costumes, chic interiors, and romantic backdrops that elevate the film's atmosphere. The screenplay moves briskly, filled with playful dialogue and situational humor that keeps the narrative light, while subtly addressing deeper themes of authenticity and self-respect. Upon release, the film was appreciated for its star power and polished production values, though some critics noted its familiar romantic comedy structure. However, audiences were drawn to the genuine chemistry between Newman and Woodward, which lent emotional credibility to even the most farcical scenarios. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, A New Kind of Love offered sophisticated escapism, bridging classic screwball traditions with modern sensibilities. It did not aim to revolutionize storytelling, but instead to entertain with intelligence and style, proving that charm, when executed well, never goes out of fashion. Today, the film stands as a delightful time capsule of early 1960s romantic comedy, showcasing how mistaken identity and playful deception can lead to personal growth and sincere connection. Its blend of humor, elegance, and star magnetism secures its place among the feel-good classics of the year, reminding viewers that sometimes love begins with misunderstanding, but endures through honesty. The Wheeler Dealers, 1963. The Wheeler Dealers is a sharp, energetic, romantic comedy that dives into the high-stakes world of corporate maneuvering while keeping its tone light, playful, and irresistibly charming. Directed by Arthur Hiller and starring James Garner and Lee Remick, the film captures the early 1960s fascination with Wall Street ambition and entrepreneurial risk-taking, all wrapped in a battle of the sexes romance. Garner plays Henry Tyrone, a smooth-talking Texas oil millionaire who suddenly finds himself broke after a bad deal, forcing him to enter the world of corporate mergers and stock manipulation in New York City. Determined to rebuild his fortune, Henry crosses paths with Molly Thatcher, portrayed with intelligence and elegance by Lee Remick, a highly capable investment banker trying to prove herself in a male-dominated financial industry. What begins as a business arrangement quickly transforms into a competitive flirtation as Henry's unconventional, instinct-driven strategies clash with Molly's disciplined, analytical approach to finance. The film cleverly uses corporate takeovers and boardroom negotiations as metaphors for romantic pursuit, turning financial jargon into witty verbal sparring. James Garner's effortless charisma anchors the movie, allowing Henry to remain likable even when bending ethical lines, while Lee Remick delivers a performance that balances sophistication with emotional vulnerability, highlighting the challenges women faced in professional spaces during that era. Their chemistry fuels the narrative, making even complex financial discussions feel engaging and personal. Visually, the sleek offices, Manhattan skylines, and tailored business attire reflect the aspirational glamour of early 1960s corporate America. The screenplay moves briskly, filled with sharp dialogue and situational humor that keeps the stakes high without becoming heavy. Beneath its comedic surface, the film subtly critiques unchecked capitalism and the moral flexibility often required for success, though it never loses its upbeat tone. Upon release, The Wheeler Dealers was praised for its lively performances and contemporary subject matter, appealing to audiences intrigued by both romance and the rapidly modernizing business world. It demonstrated Hollywood's growing interest in professional women navigating independence and ambition, a theme that would continue evolving throughout the decade. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, the film offered sophisticated escapism grounded not in exotic locations or epic battles, but in the competitive thrill of financial risk and romantic tension. Today, it stands as a charming time capsule of early 1960s optimism about business and opportunity, capturing an era when success seemed only one bold deal away. Its blend of romance, humor, and corporate intrigue ensures it remains an entertaining and polished entry among the year's feel-good classics.
The Thrill of It All, 1963. The Thrill of It All is a fast-paced domestic comedy that blends suburban chaos, media satire, and sparkling star power into one of 1963's most joyful cinematic experiences. Directed by Norman Jewison and starring Doris Day and James Garner, the film taps into the early 1960s explosion of television advertising while exploring the shifting dynamics of marriage and female ambition. Doris Day plays Beverly Boyer, a cheerful housewife and mother whose life takes an unexpected turn when she becomes the national spokesperson for a new soap product after a spontaneous on-camera appearance. What begins as a simple commercial opportunity quickly snowballs into full-blown celebrity, complete with live television appearances, demanding sponsors, and a growing public profile that overshadows her husband's more conventional career. James Garner portrays Dr. Gerald Boyer, a respected obstetrician whose pride and patience are tested as Beverly's newfound fame disrupts their once stable household routine. The film thrives on rapid misunderstandings, escalating publicity stunts, and the hilarious tension between domestic expectations and professional success. Doris Day delivers a performance brimming with warmth, comedic timing, and understated strength, ensuring Beverly remains relatable rather than exaggerated. Garner provides the perfect foil, balancing charm and frustration as a husband struggling to adapt to changing gender roles. The screenplay cleverly satirizes consumer culture and the growing power of television, portraying advertising executives as both opportunistic and absurdly theatrical. Visually, the film embraces bright suburban settings, bustling TV studios, and colorful product promotions that reflect the era's commercial optimism. Beneath its lively exterior, The Thrill of It All subtly addresses themes of identity and independence, questioning whether a woman's fulfillment must be confined solely to domestic life. Upon release, the film was a commercial hit, capitalizing on Doris Day's immense popularity and audiences' appetite for lighthearted escapism. Critics praised its humor and chemistry between the leads, even as some dismissed it as fluffy entertainment. However, its cultural commentary has aged surprisingly well, offering insight into the early stages of media-driven celebrity and the pressures placed on working women. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, surrounded by epics and serious dramas, this film provided vibrant, accessible joy without sacrificing intelligence. Today, it remains a charming and energetic time capsule of an era when television was transforming everyday life, proving that laughter and social observation can coexist effortlessly. Its combination of romance, satire, and star charisma secures its place among the year's most entertaining feel-good classics.
Wives and Lovers, 1963. Wives and Lovers is a polished romantic comedy drama that explores the subtle tensions between ambition, success, and marital insecurity within the fast-paced world of New York publishing.
Directed by John Rich and starring Janet Leigh and Van Johnson, the film centers on Bill Austen, a struggling writer who suddenly achieves literary fame, and his wife Bertie, portrayed with sharp emotional nuance by Leigh. At the beginning, Tho is an unknown novelist battling rejection letters, while Bertie works tirelessly to support their modest lifestyle and believes wholeheartedly in his talent. When Bill's book unexpectedly becomes a bestseller, their lives transform overnight, introducing glamorous parties, ambitious literary agents, and social expectations neither of them are fully prepared to handle. The heart of the story lies in how sudden success shifts the balance of their relationship. Bill becomes increasingly absorbed in his public persona and professional obligations, while Bertie finds herself sidelined, unsure of her place in this new version of their life. The film cleverly examines the fragile ego of creative success and the often unspoken sacrifices made by spouses who stand behind the spotlight. Janet Leigh delivers one of her most understated and relatable performances, portraying Bertie as intelligent, supportive, yet quietly wounded as she confronts feelings of invisibility. Van Johnson balances charm and insecurity, ensuring Bill's flaws feel human rather than villainous. The screenplay sparkles with witty dialogue and social satire, capturing the pretensions of literary society and the performative glamour of publishing culture. Manhattan serves as a stylish backdrop, filled with elegant apartments, bustling offices, and sophisticated gatherings that reflect both opportunity and pressure. Beneath its light comedic tone, Wives and Lovers addresses themes of identity, validation, and the shifting power dynamics that accompany professional achievement. Upon release, the film was appreciated for its mature handling of marital strain wrapped in accessible humor. Audiences connected with its portrayal of everyday relationships strained by extraordinary change, while critics noted its polished performances and contemporary relevance. In the broader cinematic landscape of 1963, it stood as a refined urban comedy that balanced charm with realism, offering feel-good entertainment without ignoring emotional complexity. Today, it remains a compelling snapshot of early 1960s professional aspiration and domestic partnership, highlighting how success can both elevate and challenge intimacy. Its enduring appeal lies in its honesty, acknowledging that love requires adaptation when circumstances evolve. As part of this feel-good collection, Wives and Lovers proves that even amid ambition and social pressure, understanding and communication can restore balance. It's a sophisticated yet heartfelt reminder that behind every celebrated achievement, there is often a partnership quietly shaping the story.
The Courtship of Eddie's Father, 1963. The Courtship of Eddie's Father is one of 1963's most heartfelt and emotionally uplifting family films, blending gentle humor with sincere tenderness in a way that continues to resonate decades later. Directed by Vincente Minnelli and starring Glenn Ford, Shirley Jones, and a remarkably endearing Ron Howard in one of his earliest major roles, the film centers on widowed father Tom Corbett, played by Ford, who struggles to raise his young son Eddie while navigating the uncertain world of dating again. The story unfolds with simplicity but emotional depth, as Eddie, longing for a sense of completeness in his family life, takes it upon himself to subtly interview potential wives for his father. Rather than presenting romance solely from the adult perspective, the film cleverly filters much of its emotional weight through the eyes of a child, giving the narrative a refreshing innocence. Ron Howard's performance as Eddie is natural and heartfelt, avoiding sentimentality while delivering moments of genuine warmth that anchor the film's emotional core. Glenn Ford portrays Tom as loving yet slightly awkward, a man caught between grief, responsibility, and the cautious hope of new love. Shirley Jones brings grace and quiet charm to her role, adding romantic chemistry without overshadowing the father-son dynamic at the center of the story. The screenplay strikes a delicate balance between lighthearted moments and honest reflections on loss and moving forward, ensuring the film never becomes overly dramatic or overly saccharine. Visually, Minnelli's direction embraces soft, comforting domestic settings that enhance the film's inviting tone. Upon release, the movie was warmly received by audiences who appreciated its wholesome storytelling and emotional authenticity. It earned critical praise for its performances and direction, standing out in a year filled with grand spectacles and romantic comedies by focusing instead on intimate family relationships. What makes The Courtship of Eddie's Father enduring is its message that healing does not mean forgetting, and that love can grow again even after profound loss. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, it offered a gentle reminder that not all compelling stories require dramatic conflict. Sometimes the quiet journey toward connection is enough. Today, the film remains a comforting classic, often remembered for its sincerity and emotional intelligence. It captures the universal desire for belonging and reassurance within family life,
making it one of the most genuinely feel-good entries of the year. Its warmth lingers long after the credits roll, proving that simple stories told with honesty can be timeless treasures.
Spencer's Mountain, 1963. Spencer's Mountain is a warm, heartfelt family drama that blends rural Americana, generational dreams, and emotional resilience into one of 1963's most sincere feel-good experiences. Directed by Delmer Daves and loosely inspired by Earl Hamner Jr.'s novel, which would later influence the beloved television series The Waltons, the film stars Henry Fonda as Clay Spencer, a hard-working quarryman living with his large, tight-knit family in the Wyoming mountains. Clay is a proud and stubborn patriarch who values independence above all else, determined to provide for his wife Olivia, played with gentle strength by Maureen O'Hara, and their 9 children, despite financial hardship. At the heart of the story is their eldest son, Clayboy, portrayed by James MacArthur, whose academic talent presents a life-changing opportunity, a chance to attend college and pursue a future far removed from the rugged mountain life he has always known. The emotional tension of the film revolves around Clay's internal struggle between holding on to tradition and allowing his son to step into a broader world of possibility. Henry Fonda delivers a beautifully restrained performance, capturing both the pride and vulnerability of a father confronting change. Maureen O'Hara provides emotional grounding, embodying maternal warmth and quiet wisdom that balances Clay's strong-willed nature. The mountain setting itself becomes a powerful visual symbol of stability, heritage, and isolation, with sweeping landscapes that emphasize both the beauty and limitations of rural life. The screenplay carefully weaves humor, sibling dynamics, and moments of tenderness throughout, ensuring the film never feels heavy despite its emotional stakes. Upon release, Spencer's Mountain was praised for its sincerity and strong performances, particularly Fonda's portrayal of a father wrestling with progress and pride. It resonated with audiences who recognized the universal challenge of watching children grow beyond the boundaries of home. In the broader landscape of 1963 cinema, filled with glamorous romances and urban comedies, this film offered a grounded and heartfelt perspective on American family life. Its themes of education, sacrifice, and generational transition reflected a society standing on the edge of rapid cultural change. Today, Spencer's Mountain remains a touching tribute to perseverance and love, reminding viewers that true strength often lies not in holding on, but in letting go. Its blend of natural beauty, emotional authenticity, and timeless family values ensures it stands as a fitting and heartfelt conclusion to this collection of 1963 feel-good classics.
1963 wasn't only about epics and political drama, it was about joy. These films celebrated love, laughter, family, and second chances. They transported audiences to islands, city apartments, mountain homes, and suburban chaos. They reminded us that charm can be just as powerful as spectacle. Through misunderstandings and heartfelt confessions, happiness always found its way. And even decades later, their warmth still feels genuine and comforting. Sometimes the best classics aren't the loudest, they're the most heartfelt. And these 10 films prove that 1963 knew exactly how to make us smile.